This is MNB-TV, sponsored by MyWebGrocer, the leading provider of digital grocery and CPG solutions.
I'm just going to ask you a quick question here. You're among friends, so raise your hands high if you've done this. How many people in the room have ever ordered a grocery product from Amazon.com? Just a few. Okay. Keep your hands up. Keep them up for a second. Now, take them down if you've not used Subscribe and Save. So you've used one,
Most have.
two, yeah, half a dozen people.
You know, it's funny. We did some consumer.
This staggers me. I got to tell you.
We did some shopper testing, which Amazon doesn't really do that much of. They more just kind of watch activity on the site. But we asked folks in general of their awareness that Amazon was in grocery, and it was incredibly low. But then we asked about Subscribe and Save, and it was incredibly high. So they didn't associate Subscribe and Save with being in CPG, which is interesting.
Real quick,
that's the only categories it's in.
And real quickly, Subscribe and Save allows me to do automatic fulfillment as a consumer. There's in my case, there's 8 or 9 product categories that we use a lot in our house, everything from laundry detergent to shampoo to paper towels to toilet paper. I've got it on a regular schedule that shows up monthly, quarterly, whatever it happens to be, depending on how we use it. I've used it when my father-in-law was in a nursing home to send things like Depends and Insure. Let me tell you, that changes the tracking on your name.
But it was relevant.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
For a
but
time
suddenly there's this old fart, you know.
Yeah.
But that said, it's amazing, you know. And this all stuff comes. I never get a call from my wife saying we're out of laundry detergent. I'll do all the shopping. I get 10% off because I'm ordering from Amazon. I get another 15% off because I'm part of Subscribe and Save. It's great. And all those products I'm never going to shop for anyplace else ever again, which means I'm loyal to Amazon and I'm loyal to the manufacturer.
And the brand.
So my dollars are completely out of play in those categories. Is that a model somehow? I mean, clearly maybe not the same way. Should retailers who have brick and mortar stores and even online components to their operations, should they be trying to figure this out? Is there a barrier to entry where they say, man, they can't do that because they're too small or they don't have all the computers that they have at Amazon? Or can they do it?
Well, I will say that, and this is fairly widely published, that Subscribe and Save at Amazon, you know, that we developed there back in 2005. I guess we launched it in early 2006. Runaway success, absolute runaway success. I mean, the thousands and then millions of shoppers and subscriptions that generated, and the amount that it drives the business is substantial. So I think that, you know, shoppers are definitely migrating to that, and what we see is that once you subscribe to one of your frequently purchased items, once you're in one, you're in many. So there aren't many single product subscribers. You know, once you test it, you know, you love it. I mean, at home, you know, granted, I started the program, but I think we have probably 10 or 11 subscriptions, from vitamins to protein powder to kids snacks to beverages, and it's just a really convenient way to get stuff that you use on a regular basis. And so, you know, I think any retailer and any brand has the opportunity to do that. You know, we're seeing, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Birchbox, but in the cosmetics business, you know, Birchbox has become, you know, really popular, and it's basically a platform for, you know, mostly women that buy cosmetics to get exposed to new products. So every month you sign up, I think it's like $10 a month or $15 a month, and you get a box of newly launched cosmetic products every month. You know, one of my portfolio companies just launched a store for Muscle and Fitness magazine. You know, this is a magazine, it's a media property, tons of traffic, tons of engaged, ultimately consumers in and around fitness. And so they opened a supplement store within the magazine media property, and they have the same kind of Birchbox kind of deal where, it's a regimen type item, right? Any kind of supplements you take is kind of on a regular basis, but also the notion of, the monthly box of new innovation in that category. And that's a category that totally relies on, the latest and greatest product. There's a subscription platform being delivered through a media property. So, I think that, again, it's still kind of in its infancy, this notion of subscription and regular replenishment, but it just makes logical sense. And when people try it, they really penetrate heavily into it. So if I was a retailer, I would be thinking about how to play in that.
And the thing is, it seems to me that you don't have to do it in a way where Amazon's doing like 80,000 SKUs. You don't have to do that if you're a retailer. You could just, start it really simply. Figure out, based on your shopper data, who's buying 40-pound bags of dog food, right? And then send them an email and say, would you like us to deliver this to your house once a month, whatever it happens to be? So you don't have to pick it up and carry it to your car and do all that stuff. And I'm absolutely convinced that a fairly decent percentage of people would say, yeah, I'd do that. And I'm perfectly capable of carrying 40-pound bags of dog food for the time being. I'd take it. It'd be great. And you can do that and then start to expand it out. But you've started to establish a relationship and become a resource for the consumer in a way that, in a lot of ways, you may not be, to this point.
As a retailer, if you integrate that into list management, so you've got people kind of tracking their items, tracking their weekly list, taking kind of regular deliveries off of their replenishment list. It makes total sense, and it can fit, very neatly, into, whatever overall experience it is that you're crafting.
And now, a few moments with MyWebGrocer. You offer your retailers the ability to compete with Amazon's Subscribe and Save automatic replenishment program.
We do. There is a capability in the platform to do that. It is less used, probably on the brick and mortar enabled e-commerce. Probably because it's just easier to get all of it in your order. That's sort of center store, routinely used replenishment components. But with a click, I can get that with my fresh produce and my steak and everything else in one order, and it's done. So there's not really the need to bifurcate that because you're not materially advancing your convenience level.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, what we have in lieu of that actually is we'll remind you, Kevin, based on your buying patterns, 6, 7, 8 days, that don't forget to shop at our store. Here's what you purchased, and make a quick order that way. But that's more used than the auto replenishment.
Next time on MNB-TV.